Okay, I think I have audio. I am not sure. Welcome everybody who has joined me in the kitchen for, we're going to record 3 videos today, and I just need to see if I have my audio working. Okay, I think I have audio. I am not sure. Welcome everybody. Yes, I do have audio. There. So I'm able to double check that. This is kind of an unusual setup because not only do I have to concentrate on filming the actual cooking video, but I also have to concentrate on talking to you, answering your questions, and hopefully we'll get some interaction going on. Today we're going to make butternut squash soup. I'm also going to make a pumpkin soup, and then we're going to end the day with my supper that I'm going to have tonight, and that is going to be a ramen noodle dish, turkey ramen noodles with real dashi. Now, you may see me go in and out of the scenes all the time. That's because I'm picking up stuff and trying to get things done. My kitchen, my oven and everything is that way. My sink and everything is this way. I got my sink full of water so I can handle all the dirty dishes. Usually it's just one video, but this time I'm going to try, oh, pardon me, I'm going to try 3. I've got a bunch of microphones. The one that I'm wearing now is my live microphone, so it is a wireless microphone to my streaming machine, and that is up and running with some breaks and things like that, my clocks and my knives and the currency that we use on this channel. We may even do a giveaway later on, I'm not sure. I'm thinking about giving away a nice Delstrong knife, especially the Szechuan series. This is one of our favorite knives in the house. So I can't wait. Also, you'll see me, I have a main camera here that I do all my recording on, and that's out of scene. And also I have another camera on a tripod, or actually a monopod, that I use for close-ups and that I use for getting everything done in this area here. Or if we're actually doing some cooking, I'll reposition it and focus on the frying pan. All right, so the day has started. It's a rainy, miserable day here today. It's not cold. It's probably about 65, 68 degrees, but it's raining, and it's raining hard. So I figured, what the heck, why not do some cooking? If you're popping into live chat, please say hi. I welcome it. I'm going to put on my apron, reposition the microphone over to here, and tie things up. So the first soup we're going to make is a butternut squash soup. And the reason I did 3 is because the butternut squash soup I got to actually put in the oven for a little bit. So that's not going to be a hard thing to do. We want to make it a roasted butternut squash soup. And this is for one of my viewers, Cloud, her daughter Bella. And Bella wanted butternut squash soup, so this is Bella's butternut squash soup. All right, let me get the main camera set up so I can see what's going on. Don't be alarmed that I'm out of scene. Just have to check my focus. That's good. Check my mic level. And I do that. I'm back. And I do that on another monitor I have. I just have to make sure that the microphone is picking up everything. Oh, I got to plug it in first. This is going to be the fun, is between, I don't have enough wireless microphones. There. And I got to plug in. Bear with me, I'm still here, if you're wondering where I am. There. So when I'm recording videos, I actually have a television monitor that shows me what's going on. It also shows me that my face is in focus, everything else is in focus, and I've got sound, which is beautiful. I just have to get the cord properly situated. There, so you're going to see me wearing 2 lavalier microphones today. And checking the levels look fine for that. So Without further ado, let's get started. I'll move the remote control. Actually, I'll put that in the pocket, and that way we can't see it. All right, so I usually start off with the opening. I'm Chef Mike Moses, and welcome to my kitchen. Today, we are going to make a butternut squash soup, specifically for Bella, one of my viewers' daughters. And I'm going to have all the details coming up. And that was a dry run. Now I got to turn on record. So there you go. What a way to start off without recording. Anyhow, we're recording now. I'm Chef Mike Moses, and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make a butternut squash soup with roasted butternut, with a roasted butternut squash, and it's all for one of my viewers' daughters, Bella. So this is Bella's butternut squash soup, and I've got all the details coming up. So that's the intro. I'll cut that, make it into when I go back to editing and make everything flow. So now we do the traditional. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more, please subscribe. I post new videos right here every weekend on this channel just for you. There, that's my little bumper. Okay, so now let's get into it. One of the things that I do, and I said do, is I usually read off the recipe just so I can capture what's going on audio-wise, and then I go into After Effects and I create a little recipe card. So for Bella's butternut squash soup, here's what we're going to need. We're going to need one butternut squash, that's about 2 cups. We're going to need a half an onion diced, 1 clove of garlic diced, a stalk of celery, a sprig of thyme, 1/3 of a cup of maple syrup, 2/3 of a cup of heavy cream. We're going to need 1 carrot diced, 2 tablespoons of butter, and some salt and pepper to taste. All right, now I can put the recipe away because I already have it in my head. Just had to make sure that I got everything done properly so that when I go to edit and slice it all together on the recipe card, I say the right things in the right order. Okay, so let's get Bella's soup going. Chicken stock we're going to need. Did I mention chicken stock? I don't think I did. I did not. And about 1.5 cups of chicken stock. There, I mentioned it. All right, so we'll get everything, all my ingredients set aside, because the first thing I need to do is roast up the butternut squash, and this is going to take probably anywhere from 50 to 55 minutes. Nice heavy butternut squash. I need a couple of things. First of all, make sure that it doesn't roll off the table. I'm going to need a spoon to scoop out the seeds, and I'm going to need a knife to trim it up. All right, so now I got to take my other camera and my other microphone, turn this on, and get focused on the butter. There. So now I've got 2 cameras running. I was going to gaff tape that microphone together so that it wouldn't disappear on me, but that wasn't a good thing. Medros, welcome. One thing I will apologize for in advance is that if I don't see your comments or I don't see your questions, because I'm using a knife, I always, safety first, knife, safety first, then we'll go back to the comments. All right, let's get this butternut squash trimmed and ready to go. Just going to trim off the end. I want to make it nice and square. Then I want to cut it down the middle. I have to sort of eyeball it and be very careful. There. Those are fairly flat, which is good because they're going to be sitting those are fairly flat. That's good because we want them flat on the oven pan so that we can get all the goodness and all the caramelization. And then just with a spoon, you just scoop out the seeds and the fleshy bits. Not a hard thing to do. And if it's a fairly fresh squash, this all comes out really easy, almost in one piece. That's another thing you're going to see is that, who am I talking to? Oh yeah, that's another thing you're going to see. I'm not that clean of a cook. I do make a mess, but aren't you supposed to? My kitchen, right? All right, I'll just scoop out the seeds. If you want, you can actually take these seeds, roast them up, and eat them. But in a butternut squash, there's really not that much seed. All right, so I've got that cleaned out. And I'll just get a paper towel for these, make sure I don't pull the cord away. And these will go in the recycle bin. I do like to keep my counter fairly clean. Okay, so we've got our 2 butternut squashes. These are going to go into the oven at 350 degrees, 375 degrees for anywhere from 60 to 70 minutes until you can actually press down and everything is cooked. Just want to give it a little lightly seasoned. And maybe a drizzle of some good olive oil. And a drizzle of good olive oil just to help with the caramelization. This is where the fun comes in. I just take my hands, make sure everything's covered, and put it flat on the baking sheet. And I'll do it that way so I can bake. All right. Wipe off my hands again. And there the butternut squash is ready for the oven. Once again, 60 to 70 minutes, 375 degrees to 350, all depending upon your oven. So we'll put that in the oven. Now, I'll disconnect that microphone so I don't trip over it and cause little kitchen disasters. I'm going to put this squash in the oven, which is way over here. I don't normally need to take a picture of putting the squash in the oven, and while that's happening, I will stop the recording on the 2 cameras. And get my cutting board ready. If I had a pedometer for how many miles I put on my feet when I'm in the kitchen, it'd be amazing. Okay. So now, just this microphone. I've got to buy another wireless microphone. I'm going to grab a plate because I'll put my mise en place on that. I need to slice up my celery, my onion, put the olive oil away. And my carrot, and my garlic. So we'll set once again, making sure that the camera angles are fine. Hello, Dash. What do you want, kitten? Oh, yeah. I have to introduce you to Dash. Just 1 second. Come here, buddy. Oh, yeah. So This is Mr. Dash. What do you want? Say hello. No, just say Lovins, right? He will stay in my arms like this until I put him down. Say hello to Madros. Yes, say hello to Madros. Oh, purr. All right, I got to get back to cooking. He's my sous chef. He'll hang around most of the day. And we'll get that turned on. Back to sound again, good. What he's going to do is end up playing with the cord for the second microphone. I can just see now. Broccoli, cheese, and potato soup, good. Yeah, so I always make all my soups from scratch. The only thing I don't do from scratch in my home is make the stocks. And I mean, I can buy less sodium reduced stock. Campbell's here in Canada make a decent stock that I really like. And other than that though, the veggies and everything else are fresh and ready to go. Okay, make sure I'm recording there. Need a light on that one, but. Okay, so we need our celery. And don't worry about the ingredients being in big chunks. Because we're going to motorboat this. We're going to actually take the immersion blender and blend it all up. So just cut your celery into bits that will fry up nicely. And the same with your garlic. So we've got those ingredients. My carrot. Tail and top, and I've washed my carrot, and one of the things is I like to keep the outer skin on the carrot. The outer skin has a lot of vitamins. So what I'll do is I'll just cut it in half a couple of times and then just chop it up. Probably want about 1/4 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch in size, and that way it'll saute up nicely when you start to build your soup in the pot. All right. And then we need 1/2 of an onion. I could go for a whole onion, but I don't want to overpower the butternut squash with the onion. Peel off the top while I'm doing that. He's not that big. He's all fur, Madros. Yeah, making homemade stock. I can tell you a little horror story about making homemade stock. Thanksgiving here in Canada was just recently. And of course, we did a small turkey, and I thought, I'll use that turkey for the stock. And my wife put stuffing in it. She didn't get all the stuffing out. Or I didn't get all the stuffing out. I don't want to blame anybody. That was my mistake. So all the bread and everything clouded up the stock, and it didn't look good. So we didn't do turkey soup. And we'll just cut up the onion. And there. That is our mise en place. That is our mise en place for Bella's butternut squash soup. I'll put everything else away into the green bin where it has to go, and then put the mise en place on a plate. As soon as the butternut squash is done, this is almost like a one-pot meal. We'll take the roasted butternut squash pulp out of the skins, and that goes right into the pot. All right. And don't forget the sprigs of thyme. Yeah, making homemade stock is a very long, drawn-out process. All right, I have probably 50 minutes left on that butternut squash. So what we're going to do now is switch gears and do the pumpkin. And I have to do that. Oh, the things we do just to be, just things we do just to make films, right? I'll stop that camera. Time to reset, as they say. So, this is for the butternut squash. And I did do my my due diligence and my mise en place, so I had everything ready to go for each dish before I even started, just because you don't want to see me out of frame or all over the place trying to dig for ingredients and stuff like that. All right, so stuff goes out of camera reach. And on to the next recipe. I have to make things look a little different just because I don't want everybody to know I filmed this all on one day. Noisy, noisy, noisy. Move my rosemary plant. Take my just for the soup. Okay, this is an easy one. So let's do the intro and away we go. Make sure I'm plugged in, which I'm not. There, I'm plugged in. And turn on the camera. All right, pumpkin soup. Intro to the video. Just so I know where I am on the memory card. I'm Chef Mike Moses, and welcome to my kitchen. Today, because fall is in the air, and today it's in the air real heavily, I thought we'd make a pumpkin soup. Now, I've got all the details coming up. All right. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more, please subscribe. I post new videos right here every weekend just for you. Pumpkin soup. Everywhere you look, there are pumpkins out for Halloween, trick-or-treating, and when you're done making your jack-o'-lanterns, it's time for pumpkin soup. But not a lot of people know that to take a pumpkin, roast it down, and get the right flavor, you need a sweet pumpkin, not a normal pumpkin. And it's a lot of work. A lot of work. And you've already thrown out the seeds and stuff. So let's make it easy. Let's do it the non-traditional way. For this pumpkin soup, we're going to need 3 cups of pumpkin puree, 1 onion chopped, 2 cloves of garlic, a half a tablespoon of sea salt, half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a half teaspoon of, pardon me, I said half a tablespoon, I mean half a teaspoon of sea salt, half a teaspoon of fresh nutmeg, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves, 4 cups of vegetable broth, 1.5 half a cup of heavy cream. I can't read my own handwriting. 2 tablespoons of maple syrup and a 1/4 cup of toasted pumpkin seeds. Let's do it. All right, so this one's really easy. In terms of the mise en place, the only chopping and grating that we have to do is get the onion and the garlic chopped. So take those ends off. Check on the camera. No, I didn't have that camera running. I filmed a whole episode, I think it was 2 weeks ago. No mic, no camera, all the important stuff, all the camera chopping and stuff, I missed. Oh, it was so bad. So let's get our veggies ready. We'll start with the garlic, move that, and we just want to basically chop up the garlic. We're going to saute this in the soup pot itself. Just give it a nice chop. Our immersion blender will take most of it. Make sure you have the ends off. And for our onion, again, we just want to chop it up. The easiest way that I do an onion is cut her in half. Take the first layer off. Half it and then slice it up. There's our aromatics ready to go. And we don't want to put a lot, we don't want a lot of additional flavors in here. We're looking for that pumpkin pie flavor. That is unfortunate. Yes. But it's also nature of the beast. That's what happens. Okay. So I've got my heavy cream, my pumpkin seeds, my pureed pumpkin, maple syrup. I missed a clove of garlic. How I did that, I don't know. A slight distraction, I bet. I've got my cinnamon, and I've got my, what the heck, the cloves. And of course, I don't have nutmeg. I don't have spices of nutmeg. I actually ground my own. And for $1.50, you can get a nutmeg grinder, and away you go. All right. We'll take this tray away, put it over here, and I will stop the main camera and reposition the cooking camera. I'm thinking this live is great. However, all the editing that I've got to do afterwards. So I need a soup pot. There's my pumpkin soup pot. I can get rid of the recipe because I have that memorized. I'll bring the pot over. Make sure I've got stuff done. And while I go out of frame, I'll reposition my camera. Maybe it's not close enough. Oh, I know what it is. It's not high enough. So just so you know, I'm messing with one of my monopods here to get the camera to the right height so I can look down into the dish. But I also don't want the camera to be in the shot. And make sure my exposure is correct. There. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. I got a shot from down under, they say. And we'll start this other camera. Make sure there's sound. Yes, there's sound. Try to hide the wire as much as possible. It's really a pain to hide the wires afterwards. Okay, first thing we have to do is get our aromatics going, and to do that we'll turn up our pot to a medium high. And because it's a pumpkin, I don't want to add olive oil to this. I just want to use a generic oil. My grapeseed oil. So I'll put in about 1.25 tablespoons of grapeseed oil. Let that come up to temperature as well. Oh, the kitchen smells divine because of the butternut squash, which is cooking away. Move my timer. And we need to open up the pumpkin puree as well. And this is not pumpkin filling, it's just a pumpkin puree. To make it a pumpkin pie filling, you have to spice it up. Perfect. learning all kinds of tricks as I do this, because I've managed to put all the waste receptacles and the green bin and everything within hand's reach. Let's see if I have my knife thing working. It is. Yay! Perfect. So if you're wondering about the knives are the currency, the same as missiles on Missildine or pearls on Queen Varu. And we're going to be using those for a giveaway, if not today, the next live stream. All right, my pot is coming up to temperature. The oil is starting to move around a little better, but I don't see it talking to me. I don't see it shimmering yet. And while I'm doing that, I should clean off the stove like I'm supposed to. Get a frying pan. Heat that up to a medium high as well, because I want to toast the pumpkin seeds. If you see a tail going by, that's just Dash doing his thing. All right, now I've got smoke just starting to happen. We're going to add our aromatics, so our onions and our garlic, to the pot. Give it a quick stir so everything gets coated in the oil. Knock the heat down a little bit and season. You always want to season with pepper and salt, but you don't want to do a lot. Baby steps. Because in the end, when you get to, when you have to taste it, it won't be over salted. And we just want this to saute down so that the onions and the garlic are cooked. We don't want them caramelized or anything like that. We just want them nicely cooked for this pumpkin soup. And that should only take a couple of seconds. While that's happening, I'm going to take my unroasted, unsalted pumpkin seeds, put them right in the pan, flatten them out so that they start to absorb some of the heat. All right. Those are translucent and looking very, very good. So this is important. Don't add your pumpkin puree right away because it will burn. So we want to make sure we add our vegetable stock. We're going to add about 4 cups, which is about a liter, Canadian-wise. 4 cups for our friends in the US. And this helps cool it down so that when you add your puree, you're not burning it. There we go. So a nice low sodium vegetable broth that you can buy in the store. Making your own vegetable broth is hard. Don't forget to keep your seeds moving and flipping around. I did that with a bunch of sesame seeds a little while ago. They went everywhere. They went everywhere. All right. Now I want to add my spices, because they'll actually go through, they'll actually spread out a lot better in the liquid without the pumpkin to bunch up on. So I've added my cinnamon, my clove, going to add my maple syrup, and I'm not going to use my kosher salt. I'm actually going to use real sea salt. I don't even know where it's from. Let's see here, sea salt. Athens, Greece. Problem with having no bifocals. Give this a stir. And you just want to make sure that your spices are broken up, and I've got to add some nutmeg. This is the fun part, just grinding the nutmeg. Wow. Oh, does that ever smell good? Fresh nutmeg seed. And then we'll start to add our pumpkin puree. Like I said, 3 cups, about 750 milliliters. Right out of the can. And already it smells like Thanksgiving. Oh, gorgeous smell. I don't want anything to go to waste. I'll start to mix it up. And you'll see it'll break down and get thicker. And what I want to do now is bring this up to temperature. I don't want it a hard boil, but I do want it to, I do want a hard simmer, so to speak. And I won't add the cream until near the end. All right, this is 5 or 6 minutes. Any particular reason to use canned pumpkin instead of fresh? Yep. The sweet pumpkins are harder to come by. They're expensive. And to, I hear some snap crackling and Pop tells me my seeds are roasting. And to make fresh pumpkin puree is not the same as a squash. It's actually harder because the pumpkin has more fibers in it. It's just, if I was in a restaurant making a pumpkin soup, or if I was making pumpkin soup for a client, yeah, I would go to the trouble of that. I'm at home. I'm making pumpkin soup. This is gonna last me most of the week, and it's just easier to do with the pumpkin puree. Cheaper too. I think a can of pumpkin puree was $2.50. To buy a pumpkin, a sweet pumpkin like that, would have been about $12, $13. All right, we're going to stop that for a second. Turn that one off. Make sure that my seeds keep roasting. Pop, you're going to hear snap, crackle, pop. What I do is I take them and have to be very careful, and the pumpkin puree is starting to break down. Oh, smells like pumpkin pie. And it's starting to thicken up as well. Now when we add the cream, it'll look really good. Next thing I need is a boat motor. Well, not really a boat motor. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, somebody cleaned up in the kitchen. There we go. I probably cleaned up my utensil cabinet, so I couldn't find my boat motor. This is one of my handiest rigs. Actually, I'm lying. Let me show you my handiest rig. Good morning, Lauren. How are you this morning? All right, make sure I've got nothing. That's a boat motor. Wait till you see what I got. I'll have to go into my other closet and pull it. Feel like Crocodile Dundee. This is a knife. Nah, this is a knife. So this is a heavy-duty industrial one that I use when I make hot sauce and stuff. I don't want to put it in this pot. It's way too powerful. And very messy. Very messy. All right, my soup is starting to come up to a boil. My seeds are smelling phenomenal. So you can tell when the pumpkin seeds are done because they'll start to pop. I'll turn them off. And I've got to go back to recording. Turn on this microphone over here, this critter there. And I need another wireless microphone. I'm going to do more of these, and I think I am. And I've got to turn on the camera. Okay, camera's on. Camera's on. You're there. Perfect. All right. Our pumpkin seeds are nicely toasted. You can tell they turn brown. Still a little bit of green on them, and every now and then they'll snap, like snap, crackle, pop. That means they're done. So I'll take the pumpkin seeds, and if I do it that way, it's going to be bad. take the pumpkin seeds and I'll get a spoon. I'll get a spoon and do it right. Take the pumpkin seeds out of the pan and set them aside for garnish. There. Perfectly roasted pumpkin seeds. I'll set that pan aside, because now is the fun part. We've got to take our pumpkin soup here. Take my spoon. I'm going to move something over to here. Make it look normal. It's kind of a all right. So now I've got my boat motor. I'm going to move my computer. My cord's not quite long enough. There. There, bring it over the top. So now with your immersion blender, you want to blend up all your pumpkin soup. And you don't want to start your blender now, put it in, because you'll be in a mess. Put your blender in, turn her on, and tilt it up a little. You're going to want to do this probably for about a minute or so until you don't see any big pieces of garlic or big pieces of onion in the mix. Perfect. Now, if I did that with my big immersion blender, that'd be done in a second. Boil in 2 kilograms of fresh collected apples for apple paste. Yum. Yes, it's that time of year, isn't it? Apple season. All right, kitten, you look out. Okay, so our soup is just about done. It comes off the heat. And we add our heavy cream. Give it a nice stir. Pour in the cream. What it does, it adds a little bit of fat to the soup, and it lightens the color, brings it up. Just like that. That is an easy pumpkin soup. All right. That is an easy pumpkin soup. Now it is time to plate. And I see no signal from my camera, so I'm wondering if my other camera died. Just bear with me 1 second. Yep. Dead battery, so I will go get a replacement. Be right back. Keep an eye on my soup for me. I'm back. Now I just put a new battery in, turn power back on, see what I got and what I didn't get. Nothing happened? Everything's good? All right. Okay, so plug in the microphone, make sure that we're recording again. So I have to repeat myself, I believe. So after you have your soup pureed, you want to add your cream, and that just lightens it up and makes it more smell more pumpkin-y, but it also adds some fat to the soup, which makes it very, very hearty. I'm sitting here listening to those pumpkin seeds. Snapple away. All right, let's plate up some pumpkin soup. And it is time, when I say that, to reset and get ready for plating. Milan Gamer, hello, welcome. Don't mind me, I'm just resetting here for plating up the pumpkin soup. Have to adjust a whole bunch of camera angles. Change the ISO on that. Perfect. All right. So during my broadcasting, I get everything done, ready to go. Make sure everything's nice and clean before I do the setting up. So I put everything into my sink because I have to also do the dishes. I move everything away for the final scene of the soup. Grams of apples, nice. What variety? What variety of apples did you get? Okay. Just making sure we've got everything ready to go. Because in this last shot too, I also take a picture of the finished dish for my thumbnail. So that's running, that's running. I need a ladle. Can get rid of my spoon, can get rid of the salt. Take my frying pan, put that away in there, that away in there. And I would say we are just about ready to go. Make sure everything is looking good, turned on. I'm always back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, but that's a good thing. Perfect. Let me know if let me know how the sound is still. I have batteries in my wireless, so they may die, they may not. Turn that camera on. And we're ready. Okay, time to plate up the pumpkin soup. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by how good and delicious this looks. So grab a ladle full. So as you can see, nice and smooth. Smells great. Let's put a dollop of cream right in the middle. I'm going to take a skewer. I'm actually going to take the skewer and just move the cream about a little bit. See if I can make a bat. Nope, I made a little star. Looks pretty. And then we'll garnish it with some of the pumpkin seeds. Put these on very gently, very lightly, and hopefully they'll sit on the top. I see a piece of pumpkin there. I gotta move. I'll get out a spoon for you. A little pepper. And there is pumpkin soup or pumpkin pie in a bowl, whichever way you would like it, made just for you. I hope you enjoy. So, that's it. That's the pumpkin. Now I got to take pictures. So what I do now disconnect from this microphone and turn off the main camera, just so I don't kill my battery. And then I bring over my other camera. So this camera is on a monopod, and it allows me to do all kinds of neat camera tricks with it. Don't know how they call it in English. Anakova, green, yellow, sweet, sour, or juicy. Apples, water, and cinnamon. It all sounds good, Lord. It all sounds good. All right, now I need a background, so I'm going out of the shot again, but don't worry. I do watch some videos, and it's kind of funny because some cooking videos, and they're tied down to just one area. I don't have just one area. I have a very good-sized kitchen. There's my pumpkin soup, and what I do is I loosen up the bottom. I can remember which one's the bottom. This one here. So that my pedestal, boy, did I ever tighten that up too much. There we go. So now I have a rocking and rolling motion. Pull out the screen so I can see it. And make sure that I'm within the right area. Make exposures correct, and exposure again. Another shot, zooming in. And then I take a picture. Knock her down a little bit. Please bear with me as I do this. So like I said, today is all about cooking. So what I'm doing actually is I'm standing on the tripod so that it doesn't move. I'm going to turn my ISO down because I want high quality. That's one picture. There, 2 pictures for thumbnails. And that is all there is to making a video. That is the pumpkin video made. Now I just have to make sure I've got everything solidified again, because I do put this, this one goes up quite high sometimes. And we still have the roasted butternut squash in the oven. There. So this guy is moving around on his technical difficulties with some of the filming, but that's all right. I'll answer some questions. Thanks, Lord. Yes. Now, if you're wondering about pumpkin soup and preserving, it will sit in the fridge, and it will stay in the fridge for probably a good week, but you can freeze it. Just put it in the freezer, and it'll freeze for, oh Lord. Well, I've had pumpkin soup that's been in the freezer for about a year. It comes out very nice. All right, there. Now my camera's not going to fall all over the place. There, so the secondary camera back in business, and I'll put it over here because we'll be doing some roasted squash in a moment. Butternut squash, that is. All right. I've still got, I think, about 30 minutes 35 minutes on the roasted squash. I'm going to take my pumpkin soup. I'm going to take this cord, which is driving me crazy. Just move it out of the way for a moment, stuff it in my pocket, and get some containers. Bear with me. So because this soup here is one that I'm going to stick in the freezer, I've got some Rubbermaid containers, and each one is just the perfect size for a serving. So I'll fill these up. Not all the way to the top, but fill them up. More. Never tasted anything made from pumpkin. Well, not past 16 to 20 years. Yes, you can do a small portion too. When I post the recipe, just cut it in half, cut it in 3/4. I think what makes this pumpkin soup really, really good is the fact that it's got the cinnamon, the nutmeg. And I think I have enough for one more container. Just don't want to make a big mess. So as you can see, from one can of pureed pumpkin, a few spices and stuff, and a thing of vegetable stock, I actually have 4 lunches, or 4 meals, depending upon what you want to do. And just as a surprise when they open them, some pumpkin seeds. Gives a nice little crunch to the soups. I should try these too. Unsalted, delicious. Delicious. Okay, I'm gonna let these cool down. Gonna move my serving dish. Take my my background and put that over here. Before you put the covers on these, you should let them cool down at least to almost room temperature, and that way they won't explode on you or pop out. So I will take these and move them to my kitchen table, which is a big kitchen table over here, but that's all right. We'll get those out of the way. Because now we've got to do our, what do we got to do? We're almost to the point where we need to clean up a little. There. Okay. So now I have to sort of reset for, what do we got to reset for? Oh yeah, Bella's butternut squash soup. How are they called on English? Atonovaca. Green, yellow, sweet, sour, and juicy. Are those the type of apples? I'll put this in the sink, fill it up with some water. So now you see that's one video roughly recorded. And then it will have to be edited, and I edit that in Premiere Pro, and then after that I add some effects, some nice music that's not copywritten, and everything works fine. Oh, okay, I understand. Be interested to taste those, because it's funny how apple varieties all over the world are different. All right. So now, let's see here, resetting for the butternut. I'll have to check on the squash in the oven. My wife would be so proud. In fact, you should be proud that I didn't make an absolute mess when I was doing this. I'm impressed. A bit of water to, yes, absolutely. Don't forget the sugars in the apples. The sugars in the apples may cause it to boil a little hotter. So it's almost like sugar when you make a caramel or something. Sure, if you add the water and then it disappears, if you're making fudge or whatever, then you're boiling real sugar, and sugar has a high boiling temperature. Yes, if you're wondering about the nose running, that is par for the course on a rainy, dusty day. I have slight allergies. All right, so now let's get our mise en place. This is for Bella soup. Very, very good. I shall put this in the recycle bin. Sorry for turning my back on you folks. Let me check on the butternut squash. So now I'm going to go down here in my oven. Nope. Another 20-25 minutes on that. Could I make the dashi in that time? Probably not. However, that being said, with the marvels of technology, I will need a pot for my butternut soup, butternut squash soup. So while I'm waiting for the butternut squash to cook, I can record the part where I'm doing the mise en place. So let's do that. Get some more cameras going. Might have to change a memory card here in a moment. And I've also got to change my vocabulary, because I was in pumpkin, just setting up camera here, don't worry about it. Pumpkin mode for a while. Now I'm going to be in butternut squash soup mode. Nice. Always like it when it focuses in right at the beginning. All right. Washing it after cooking if you miss this. Oh, it's just easier to buy a new bowl. Yeah, just buy another bowl. I have some favorite bowls. All right, check 1, 2, 3. That recorder is on. Make sure this one is on. I can't see. Yep, we're recording. Good. Okay. Sure that I'm not all cut up. Now for the butternut squash, we also need to get our vegetables sauteed and actually softened. So the carrots take a little bit of time. Again, I'm going to turn the heat up to about medium-high, and I'm going to use some good quality olive oil. Put a tablespoon and a half. That's going to allow me to get the aromatics and the carrots and everything cooked nicely. Going to need a spoon for this one. And we'll let this come up to temperature. As you can see, the olive oil kind of slow around the pot. It'll pick up pretty quick. So for the butternut squash soup, we have onions, garlic, celery, and carrots. I have a sign here that says, never trust a skinny chef. You can if they eat right. All right, I don't want to put my thyme in directly, but I am going to put my vegetables in now. It's just a gentle simmer, gentle saute. A little more heat. And of course we have to season. Salt, and that's only like a pinch of salt. And pepper. And you want to saute this, and you want to keep these stirring around until the carrots are, I see a big carrot there. Did I not cut that one in half? I did. There. Until the onions are translucent and the carrots are starting to soften. The soup is actually going to boil, simmer away for 30 to 40 minutes once we get the butternut squash in there. And when that happens, the carrots will break down completely. This just adds to the color and to the sweetness. All right, that was one other part that was needed to be done. Black Dragon, good afternoon, welcome, welcome. Just got to turn the camera off here. Two cameras. I put a lot of miles in when I'm filming. That's okay, I don't mind. So this is going to go, I'm waiting for the butternut squash to cook. I don't know where to look half the time. I'm going to have to get some funny faces and put them up and say, you know, this is live, and this is recorded, and this one's for a background. Well, I'm glad you guys can drop by. It's awful nice to have somebody else here to help me get my videos done and to see the process. Now it took me 3 days to figure out how to do this because I have, like I said, I have two big DSLRs. I have a GoPro Hero 5, but I gotta you have to buy an adapter for a microphone, and then you can't stream from it. And then I was gonna use my iPhone, and then I went, you dummy. You own a webcam. You bought a very nice webcam. Use that. So I just brought my PC streamer out here, hooked up my wireless mic to the USB audio, and from what I can see, I think this works good. What do you think? Oh, love the smells in the kitchen. Love the smells. I'm going to sneeze. Pardon me. Okay, so those are just about done. I'm going to turn the heat off on those because my butternut squash is not quite ready. Cool. I'm happy with this mic. It's with this setup. This actually works pretty good. Even though I have to stop every now and then, reset video cards and batteries in the other ones. So what do you think? I'm going to have 3 videos done by the end of today, or 3 videos recorded. So that's a month's worth of videos. Should I release 2 a week? Or should I continue on with my schedule? Once every weekend. Be healthy, yes. These are absolutely nothing wrong with these dishes. Not even anything bad in it for you. All right. That's looking good. That's looking good. So see everybody here, I'm going to reward some knives. Just because I can, and I see everything seems to be working fine in the back end, which is nice. I'll check on the butternut squash again. Oh, 5 minutes. 5 minutes and we can haul the butternut squash out. Where the heck is that going? What did I do? That's that one. I'm all caught up in wires here. I think that wire went in my back pocket. Yeah, there we go. What is the third? What's the third item that I'm cooking? Or what's the third camera? I'm not quite sure I understand. What the third is then? I'm not sure I understand, Medros. The third what? Dun dun. Very nice, very nice. All right. I think butternut squash time. So I need to set up. This is actually going to be very hard to do. So I won't do it that way. What I'm going to do is stand by one while I get the. Ooh. There's the roasted butternut squash. Now, when I'm standing here, can you see the sink? That's do that and that and that. Should be hidden. Should be good. All right. Oh, the third item. The third item. This third item is a new favorite recipe of mine. It's actually ramen. Turkey ramen with a real dashi sauce. And to make the dashi sauce is simple. Not a lot of sodium in this. It's just a nice ramen noodles, all kinds of veggies and some turkey. And the dashi sauce involves the seaweed and the buntu flakes. And I'll show you how to make that. It's really simple and it doesn't take any time at all. And that's what I'm having for supper. Okay, so I've got to set up my cameras again. Set them up again for the removal of the butternut squash. And this is why I really, really, really like having my my portable one. Make sure I've got the right exposure. One of the worst things to get is something not exposed correctly, because you can fix a lot of it in post, but it's no fun. It's no fun at all. All right, testing 1, 2. Microphone is on for that. Good. Now, I have to get a spoon. And I guess I'll dirty a bowl. Get a bowl out here for the puree, or for the butternut squash. Get a big bowl. Get a big bowl. There. Sorry about all the noise and the banging. I didn't realize the microphone's right there while I'm doing it. Later than you thought. Oh, well, we started at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And it took an hour for the butternut squash to cook, so I did that. And while the butternut squash was roasting, I decided to do the pumpkin soup. And then now we're back to Bella's butternut squash. And make sure I've got everything set to go. We're on record, volumes are right. This is in the way, I know it is. Now I have to make it look like I just hauled it out of the oven. And okay, so the butternut squash has come out of the oven. It's been in there for 60, 70 minutes. I can tell it's done because my knife pokes through very, very easily. I want to let this cool down. It's still very hot. I want to let it cool down probably for about 5 or 10 minutes so that I can handle it to get the butternut squash out of it. Flip it over, you'll see some nice caramelization, and everything looks nice and cooked. There we go. That one's actually falling apart, so it's been in there just about long enough. This is the part I don't want to eat. This is the part I do want to eat. Now that's still too hot to handle. We'll let that go for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll take the butternut out of the butternut squash skin. All right, there. So that's another scene in the big production. Turn that off, plug it off. A lot of starting and stopping of cameras. One of the big things I find hard to do is what's called continuity, and keeping things looking the same when you take a break, or when you do a dish that takes a lot of time. Like, I'm going to have a bitch of a time trying to edit out this cable. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll leave it in. Proves I'm human. There we go. Ramen. I was thinking about you, Medros, when I made this a couple of weeks ago, and it was a dish that came from HelloFresh, and I looked at it and went, you know, using chicken stock and fish sauce to make dashi does not seem right. So I'm going to show you how to make real dashi with the actual seaweed and the buntu fish flakes, and it doesn't take any time at all, no boiling involved. Then we'll get everything set up and make a really gorgeous ramen dish, which is what I'm going to have for supper. And since it's a dish that's enough for two, I guess I'm going to have it for supper tomorrow too. Later than you thought. Yeah, you slept in. He slept in, Black Dragon. I'm going to haul these puppies out on... No, I can't touch it. Continuity. But I will get some rubber gloves because it's going to be a hot. It's another thing to have in the kitchen when you're doing a lot of cooking. Get these at Price Club. And they're just nitrile gloves. Keeps your hands from being burnt to crisp. Or as the doctor says, bend over. No. Okay, so I need to get my chicken broth. My butter, actually. I'm going to put these right here so that I can recover them quickly for the soup. Chicken broth, butter, salt, pepper. The onion's already in there. Okay, I think we can carry on. What do you think? Ramen is pasta with vegetable soup. True ramen, true Japanese ramen is egg noodles that are wavy usually, and they're done in a dashi broth. And it's the broth that gives you the umami. They call it the sixth taste, the sixth sense. Even though it has fish in it, boy, it doesn't taste fishy at all. Thank you for translating. Yeah, unfortunately, Lord, your English, really good. Very good. All right, let's get some cameras on and take apart some butternut squash. And this is Bella's butternut squash, and I don't see Bella on, but her and Cloud weren't feeling very well the other day. Had a stomach bug, and I don't blame them. All right. Okay, the butternut squash is now cooled down enough that I can handle it, and I put some gloves on just because if it's not cooled down enough so I can't handle it, then I won't. As you can see, the skin peels right off. And what you have to make sure is that you get all the skin taken off, because if you don't, it's not something you want to have in your soup, trust me. There. One big piece there. Still a little warm, still a little warm. I just like to make sure all the skin's taken off. That way you don't get any surprises or any big bits in your soup. And you'd think that, oh yeah, it peels off like paper, but it doesn't break down. So it doesn't break down in the cooking process. It stays fibrous. It doesn't, not very appetizing, but that's okay. We've got all off that one. All off that one. So we'll go to the next guy as soon as I move this stuff into the green bin. And I'll see if I can't cheat a little. If I can't cheat a little, just cut off the end. Pick up the skin. Peel it right off. Well, a little bit. Not too bad. This is the longest part. The peeling of the skin. Okay, I see what I'm doing on the end there. There. Lots of noises. I'll cut it in half and make sure I've got all the skin off this piece. Wow, that sucker's hot. All right. All right, I'm going. There. Okay, all the skin. To double check, because I don't want any hard pieces or anything like that. I want those caramelized bits, but I don't want any skin on them. And double check, and there's skin on this one here. There. All right, so the skin is all removed from the butternut squash. It's not the butternut squash, is skin's taken off. We will go back to the vegetables, which are sauteing away nicely. And I'm going to reposition a camera, see what all the comments are. Real ramen is very different than instant, Black Dragon. Oh yeah. Yeah, instant ramen is, I like to call it salt in a bowl. And the reason it's so salty is because they need that to preserve everything. There, cool. All right, Not quite ready yet, but we'll be in just a couple of seconds, and then I'll be able to turn the other two cameras on again. I wish I could actually leave it running and then go back and forth to the cameras, but I need more remotes and more things to know what to do with. Okay, time to turn the cameras on. Camera 1. And camera 2 should be here. There it is. Camera 2 is on. Camera 1, camera 2 are on. Camera 1 has audio. Yes, I can see audio. My vegetables again are simmering away or sauteing away. So, let's do this. All right, now that we've got our butternut squash de-skinned and all ready to go, we'll just put that right into our pot. Break it up a little. Get all the goodness in there. And we're going to add our chicken stock. And like I said, probably about 2 cups, so half of this. There, 2 cups of chicken stock. Our seasonings, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. I made a pumpkin soup last week, and the 2 flavors are very, very different. We will also add 2 tablespoons of butter. And where did my maple syrup go? Right here. And of course, a tablespoon of maple syrup. Oh, I love maple syrup. And I'll stir this around. It's already starting to look gorgeous. When we boat motor it, or use the immersion blender, it will look better. So this has to go on the stove, and you want it to simmer away for anywhere from 30 to 35 minutes, just so all the flavors get incorporated and the butternut squash absorbs all the spices and all the flavorings. There. So that's that other piece. Hopefully I don't forget to turn that off and that off. Need to actually turn the cameras off now because I got 30 minutes for that, and then we'll get into the ramen. That's going to need a battery change. Going to need a battery change. Okay, now I've got to find, what have I got to find? Oh yeah, I got to get my stuff ready for the ramen. So there's no sense me filming all this, the boiling of the 30 minutes or the cooking for the 30 minutes. So I'll let the cameras cool down a little while that is going. I'll get these dishes over here. I'm going to have to actually do some dishes before I start the ramen, so we'll probably take a break in about 10 or 15 minutes or so. Let's see, Madros, that's part makes making homemade tonkatsu ramen my preference more difficult. You can't really buy pork stock. You know, you're right. You really can't buy pork stock. You can buy beef stock. You just can't buy pork stock. And pork stock's not that difficult to make. It's just time consuming like everything. And do we have time to do stuff? I'm lucky I get to work from home, so when my workday's done, I don't waste 2 hours a day commuting. So I actually find more time to do stuff. In terms of the cooking though, I love it. Bella is going to love this soup. Yep, I'm on the butternut squash. I figured there's probably 20, 25 minutes left in the butternut squash episode. And then when I get that done, what I'm going to do, I'll take a 5-10 minute break, or no, not 5-10, 3 or 4 minute break, and I'll get the majority of the dishes done up and out of the way, and then we can move on to the ramen, because by that time it'll be about an hour before my supper, and I might as well make the supper. This soup is gorgeous because it breaks down so well. Oh, I might need more paper towels. It's amazing how many paper towels I go through. I forgot to add the thyme. Anybody get the thyme? Put a sprig of thyme in there, and I'll keep this one for garnish. Yes, butternut squashing it at the moment. One thing I don't want to do is lose that sprig of thyme. All right, why don't we do this? Why don't I do this? That still has 20 minutes left. Five or 10 minutes. Why don't we take a 5-minute break or less? And what I'll do is I'll get the dishes and stuff cleaned up, and then I'll come back and we'll look at the ramen. So we'll take a little break, and then we'll do some ramen. So I have a little break video here that will help us. And I'm back. I think the my electric decided to blink. Your electricity decided to blink, or your electric tool, whatever. Let's see. There. So the soup's still going on. Just tested one of the carrots. They still haven't come about yet. So this has got to boil away for a little bit longer, but that's okay. Welcome back. Thanks, Medros. I'm just waiting for. Oh, I'm not live on my. Oh, silly me. How can I see the chats if I'm... There I go. Now I'm live. Now I'm live. And I'm trying to prevent the soup from actually burping and getting all over the place. So I've added just a little more chicken stock to do that. And I will mention that in the video to watch out for that. Now, I think I have to do a couple of things here. Check this camera. Yes. Just give me 1 second. I gotta go get some more batteries. More batteries. Should be more batteries in here. Already charged up, ready to go. Yes, there is. Which is always nice. Oh, there's my coffee cup. Yeah, when you leave your cameras on for so long, the batteries don't do well. Whoop. Ah. Fumble into the dish machine. Get another one. That one fumbled. Oh, I'm out of paper towel too. The joys of live broadcasting. So now I got to go get some paper towel. Pardon me again. Follow me. Walk this way. Oh, you can't follow me. I don't have a camera that will do the following, but that's okay. That's okay. So it's just like another stream starting up. Paper towels. Kitty cats, he's smart. It's just it's a nasty day out there. So what he did was got one of the big comfy chairs and went to sleep. Silly bugger. There, back to a reasonable sense of normal. And the soup is just simmering away. What I'm checking for now is the doneness in the carrots. Because if I put my immersion blender here and they're not done, going to be a mess again. I may need to add a little more stock, so I think I might have to adjust my recipe. Might have to adjust it to 4 cups instead of 2. So this squash soup has the roasted butternut squash and the carrots and the celery. All the good stuff we can think about. So was there sound during the break? I couldn't tell. I think I have sound turned off on everything, so there's no feedback and there's no jittering and none of that kind of stuff. This is the life of filming YouTube videos, waiting for things to happen. Like the carrots to soften up. It just bubbles. It's just waiting to go. I know it's not, though. Well, so as you probably have heard, cannabis is now legal in Canada. And the news media is hilarious because they reported, the first person to buy legal marijuana in Canada, the first person to get a ticket having marijuana open in their car. It's to be treated just like alcohol, so you can't drive around with alcohol open in your car so that the driver is within reach. So there's a ticket got out the other day. Somebody got stopped and they had their freshly bought marijuana right in the right on the seat next to them, so they got ticketed. So the government's just raking in the money like crazy. Didn't hear any music during the break. Okay, I'll have to fix that. Figure out what the heck's going on. Because this is I'm streaming off of my main streaming computer that also takes a feed from my gaming computer when I do games. Yeah, we're using chicken stock. 30% reduced chicken stock, sodium reduced. And the only reason that I'm using bought chicken stocks is because it's a pain in the ass to make chicken stock at home unless you're doing it for a special occasion or a client. Just keeping an eye on the time spray because I don't want to lose it. It's so small. It's so small. That freaking heats I got to keep adjusting. That's all right. So the carrots are getting there. Yeah, and then what else here? Yeah, then I had reading in the news this morning too about somebody didn't buy anything from the legal avenues because it was too expensive. They were going to go back to their drug dealer. It's like, first of all, I don't think I'd want that published. Second of all, you don't say that in public. Yeah, you guys are too expensive, so I'm going to go back to my drug dealer. You don't think the cops will be following him, trying to figure out where his drug dealer is. I tell you, some people. I know what I do need. I need an extension cord for my boat motor. Now I'll take it over. I'll move it. I will move it over to another burner. There, makes it easier. So I don't feel like leaving again. So I've got HelloFresh coming tomorrow. No, today's Saturday, so Monday. If there isn't a postal strike, I don't know what's going on. Anyhow, so I bought HelloFresh a couple of weeks ago because I was curious. I was really, really curious, but I also was not going to spend 80 or 90 bucks for 3 meals for 2 of us. Just not going to happen. Anyhow, I got a coupon, a Groupon or some kind of coupon code and got 45% off, so I ordered HelloFresh to see what it was like. It was just piquing my curiosity because when I go to a grocery store to pick up produce and stuff, I'm super anal. I really do look for the quality in the products. So the box came. It had 3 meals that I would never, it had 1 meal that I was almost embarrassed to cook. It was steak and frite, and they had it done up like a nice French recipe. So I made homemade, they give you homemade potatoes. They want you to make homemade French fries with these little potatoes. Duh. And the steak was, no, don't do it like that. So I made homemade steak and frite the other night, and it was a lot better. My wife really enjoyed that. But the steak and frite meal was for 1 person. Then we did a Mediterranean chicken over a bed of basmati rice, and that was actually very good. And then I did some enchiladas, and they weren't bad. They weren't bad at all. I did enchiladas last Friday night here, using that same style, and I must say, came out a lot better. They were bigger too. Portion control's fine, but Yeah, so the plan with HelloFresh made Rose, I contacted them and said, look, I'd like to review your product. I've tried it out. I liked it. For me, it's not for me, but I liked it, and I'd like to try it out and see if it would be a good value for somebody who doesn't like to go grocery shopping, or who eats at restaurants 2 or 3 times a week, or see what, see if it's good. So HelloFresh came on board, said, yep, we'll send you a box. And so Monday, I'll get a box of HelloFresh food, and then I got to make 3 more meals. But apparently it takes 30 minutes for each one, so I will be recording that and my thoughts and how to do it, because like I said, it's not cheap. But then again, I guess you could say or I should say, it's not inexpensive. The actual quality is pretty good. Yeah, I can't make. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't even do boiled potatoes for little things like that. I like Idaho potatoes, the big bakers. Yeah, so like I said, if you spend 80, 90 bucks a week on takeout, but you want healthier food or better food, this may be the way to go. They claim each recipe only takes 30 minutes to make, and it does. I've made it in 30 minutes. Just testing the carrot. Oh, the carrots are good. Oh, we're close. We're close, but we're still going to need more chicken stock. It's really soaking up the chicken stock. But that's okay. That's okay. Because once those carrots and stuff start to render down, yeah, maybe some skillet potatoes, boil them first, and then peel them up and shred them up, and that'd be really good. I'll have to, now that I know how I can set up this live pretty quick, what I might have to do is do a live breakfast stream some morning and make breakfast. Okay, I'm so close to finishing up this one. Let's see. Yep. All right. Make sure everything is reset. I need a bowl to put my soup in. I got a bowl. Yeah, for roasting, definitely not for frite. Definitely not for frites. Okay, boat motor, bowl, ladle. Where's the ladle? Ladle, ladle, ladle. Should be right here. Sorry, I'm turning my back on you. It's the only way I can get to the sink. It's the only way I can get to my sink. Yeah, we have, if you go to the grocery store to try to buy a baking potato, good luck. Those big Idaho baking potatoes, I love them. But if you go to Price Club, you can buy as many as you want, and they're as big as you want, and it's pretty good. All right. Let's turn on some cameras. Over here, I turn on the big 6D. She is on. We will go to the 6D's feed on the TV so that I can see that everything's in focus. Over here, we turn on the 5 Ti. And boy, that's it's almost where I want to be, but not quite. I want to be right on the soup. Come on, you silly thing. There we go, right there. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so now I'll get I'll find my microphone. The recording started. know it's here somewhere. That's that. There it is. Oh, we're all tangled up. I'm all tangled up. That goes through there. That goes through there. And that goes, I don't know where the hell it goes. Testing 1, 2, 3. Good. That's done. Make sure that the boat motor is plugged in. And I've got around the top lots of room. Okay, our butternut squash soup has been simmering away for probably 30-35 minutes, and that is so that the carrots can become soft, and just after we've sauteed them. We didn't saute them down to a softness, but now they're soft. Everything is broken up, and I've added more chicken stock. As you see your soup getting thicker and thicker and thicker, add a little more chicken stock just to make it not as thick and as hard to take your blender and blend it up. So with that in mind, what we're going to do now is blend up our butternut squash soup. Again, putting your blender in, turning it on the side, then taking 2 or 3 minutes just to make sure you get everything. Keep your blender immersed all the time, or there will be butternut squash everywhere, sealing the whole bit. Because I made so much, this will take some time. But it's looking very good. I see a carrot that I'm trying to get. There we go, I got him, I got him. Now, if you notice your butternut squash is getting really thick, just add a little more chicken stock. It won't hurt it. There, so instead of 2 cups of chicken stock, I've actually added about 4. And I'm starting to wear it. Way, it's what it's all about. There. I just want to make sure I haven't got any big chunks of carrots. I am leaving some chunks. Yeah, it's not, I would call it a puree. I wouldn't call it a total maceration of all the vegetables. That just gives it some texture. All right, we're done with this. Clean her off. I don't put electrical stuff, just the end. And I think it's time that I just saw something on my, I'm not sure how much I got done. It's just about the remaining chunks were desired right. Okay, I gotta get another memory card for one of my things. Actually, I'm probably gonna have to put new memory cards in each of them. Just bear with me 1 second. I've got to go find a memory card. I always have 2 of everything, and it's always good to have 2 of everything. Sometimes memory cards fail, sometimes they don't. There it is. And I have to make sure I erase everything on it. So that's 64 gigabytes of recording that I've done so far today on this camera. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. And I'm still here. I just got to go to the menu and to erase this other card. There we go. Erase. Perfect. Done. And it should be back. Yes, there we are. Okay. Here I am again. No big deal, just a memory card full, especially on the main camera because that runs pretty much all the time. Now, I need that much time. And I need a plate for presentation. We'll use this plate here. Do that and that. And see, what else do I need for setting up the picture? I need to set up the picture. So I think I will take some fresh rolls. So take 2 fresh rolls, and they are fresh. Like that, and that will be our soup. I went into the grocery store yesterday looking for rolls, and she didn't have any, or they didn't have any out, but there was in the bakery, they were just packaging them up, coming right out of the oven. So I said, can you toss me some of those rolls? And the girl looked at me and said, yeah, I guess I can. And so she tossed me the rolls, and they were still warm, so I came home, told my wife I just baked some rolls. All right, turn this camera on again. I'm going to, I gotta add the cream to the squash soup. Get my microphone, make sure she's plugged in. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now that our soup is pureed, you want to reduce the heat way down to low. And the reason being is you don't want it to burp on you. And when it burps on you, it spurts all over the place. Now we'll add our 2/3 of a cup of heavy cream. I'm actually not going to add all the 2/3. Blend it in. And this lightens up the soup. And again, adds a little more fat to it, which makes it very nice on the palate. Very nice. It gives it that butternut squash color. Oh, this one looks really good. Now, I didn't blend it all the way up completely. I just blended it a little to make sure that all the big chunks were gone, but there's still little pieces of carrot, some thyme, some celery. See all those in there. All right, let's dish up a bowl for Bella. See, it's nice. A nice, thick, hearty soup. Put her on the plate here. And of course, I've got some soup on the edges, and you're not supposed to have that when you're doing a presentation, right? So just clean it up. Put a little piece of thyme in the middle. You want to be careful. You don't want to put an inedible herb. And then we'll just add a dollop or 2 of heavy cream there. And there. And my skewers again. This time I'm just going to circles. Kind of a fancy way. And there, for Bella, is her roasted butternut squash soup. I hope you enjoy it. All right. I'll stop this other camera. Oh, don't tell me it wasn't recording. If it wasn't recording, I'm not going to be impressed. I know this one was. Yep. And the battery's dead in this one. Good. So, bear with me. I'll bring this camera over while I walk all over the wires. Just going to change the battery on this one and take a picture of the meal, and then we'll get into the ramen. They look like Hawaiian rolls. No, those are what do we call them? Pan rolls. You basically roll them up, put them in a pan, put the pan in the oven, bake them. I'm not a baker. Don't want to be a baker. Love eating bread, don't want to cook it. Love eating bread, don't want to cook it. Make sure my battery's got the right power on her. Come on. Full battery, nice. Oh no. Yeah, I think it was recording. I just, it's one of those things, the lights in my eyes and I could hardly see the monitor screen. But now, that doesn't matter. So that soup's done. This time I gotta take some pictures and some footage. It's not high enough. Here we go. Bring my screen out. And this is what I do every day. Every time I do a video. Drop the ISO down. Make sure that it's sitting on the right spot on my foot. ISO up. Too high. Perfect. Stuff used for what's called B-roll. All right, I'll do this one again. And we'll take a picture. See if I can take a direct overhead picture. Without my shadows in it. Wow, that's terrible. That's better. That's better. All right. I would say that it's ramen time. I just have to, reset. There we go. And I got all the cables caught up in the tripod. Oh, Lord. All right, so that's the butternut squash soup done. And this soup I'm also going to put away, but I'm going to let, I'm just going to cover and put in the fridge because I may have that for supper. I may have that for supper tomorrow night. Just have to find the lid. I think that's the lid. That's the lid. Nice. All right, get this puppy off the out of the set. And we'll do a quick reset. This goes over here as well. Sorry, I keep walking out of the frame, but we need to do all the resets so that it doesn't look like I'm doing something different. Or no, so that it looks like I'm doing something different every time. And I've got to get rid of the residual butternut squash that splashed all over the place. Should have a rag in here. There it is. There we go. All right. Now, to make this one different, that goes there. This goes into the sink. I think I've got to take off my apron. Looks like I had fun with it. So which mic is this? I don't know. Bear with me while I try to figure out my microphone situation. There. That's off. I think this one is... Okay, this one's the one I want. This is the mic that I'm talking to you with. I'm going to put that right there. Hopefully that's not too loud. And this is the mic that I'm using to do the videos with. Getting your exercise in. Oh yeah, no kidding. No kidding. All right, so that's going to go there. I have to rinse this out. I try to keep on top of the dishes and stuff, and that way I don't have any surprises, but 9 times out of 10 I do. I'll put those there. That's going to go in the laundry. This microphone is going to go, I'm not sure where, but I'll put it right here for now. And I'll get what we need to make our ramen with dashi. And I've got to go out of scene again because I need my gnocchi. That, my black sesame seeds. So the dry seaweed, the kobu, what the heck is it called here? It is kombuch, dashi kombuch, dried seaweed. So I've got that, and then of course I've got my dried bonito shavings. It's so funny because I went to an actual Japanese, Chinese, Asian food place, and I walked around for hours like, where's this? Finally I stopped somebody and said, excuse me, can you tell me where this is? Oh yeah, that's there, that's there, that's there, that's there. It was a piece of cake for them. Anyhow, all right, so I need this pot here. And I need 4 cups of water in this pot. Getting my exercise in, no kidding. Back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. So 4 cups of water is about 1 liter. I cheat, my pots are all marked 1 liter, 2 liter, 3 liter. I'm going to turn that up to high to make the bonito. All right, let's get ready for this one. Just got to hang up my gloves, my oven gloves. Make sure that is on and recording. Yes. All right, this should be on and recording. Check 1, 2. It's making a lot of noise. Making a lot of noise. Okay, well, now we're going to make the ramen as soon as I get the knot out, because I don't think there's a knot there. I need this mic right there. All right, brown shirt shouldn't be too much of a matter. Let's get her done. I'm Chef Mike Moses, and welcome to my kitchen. And this time we are going to do something very special and very traditional. We're going to make turkey ramen in a dashi sauce. And the dashi, is it dashi sauce or dashi? Yeah, dashi sauce. Or dashi broth, that's what it is. We're going to make turkey ramen in a dashi broth. And I'm going to make the dashi broth from scratch, and I'll show you how easy it is. Coming up. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. I post new videos right here every weekend on this channel just for you. Okay, so I had the opportunity as a kid to eat a lot of ramen noodles. You know, ramen noodles, hot water, packet of salt and whatever for flavorings, and that was it. Well, I had a chance to make real ramen and real dashis. Just heard a camera turn off. I had a chance to make real ramen and real dashis. Keep wanting to call it dashi sauce, and it's not. It's a dashi broth. Had the chance to make real ramen with turkey and a dashi broth. And I thought, wow, this is delicious. I can't even describe the flavor. The dashi broth is actually an umami. It's, you'd think it tastes fishy, but it doesn't. It's a very unique flavor. Anyhow, we're going to make that. So for our turkey ramen, here's what we're going to need. We're going to need 1 pound of ground turkey, 2 bok choy chopped, 1 shallot sliced, 1 cup of ramen noodles, 1 cup of ramen noodles, 2 radishes julienne, 1½ cup of gnocchi mushrooms, 2 carrots julienne, 3 green onions sliced along the bias, 2 cloves of garlic, some soy sauce. Let's see, what's a thumbnail? Tablespoon of chopped ginger. And for the broth, it's easy. We're going to use 4 cups of water, 20 grams of kombucha, I keep getting this messed up. Konbuke. 20 grams of kombucha seaweed. Yeah, dashi kombucha seaweed, dried seaweed. 1/2 cup of bonito flakes. And we're going to simmer this and make our dashi broth. I don't think I missed anything, so that'll be for the ads. Bok choy, one of my favorite veggies. Yes, it's one of mine too, especially baby bok choy. I'm going to grow that this year. All right, I've got to stop the recordings. Figure out which one is which. Just to get everything set for, oh Lord, everything's set for the prep. Get the mise en place going. All right, get my other camera over here. Needs to come up around. I'm still here. I'm just getting my secondary camera focused in on where it needs to be. There we go. There we go. Oh, that's why it died so fast. It was on... Oh, crap. I put a bad battery in it. Imagine that. So I put a dead battery in the camera. God damn it. And unfortunately, this camera doesn't sit on this head very well. So that one's dead. Let's try this one. All right, let's see what I got. Full battery. Don't be lying to me, camera. Full battery, that's what I expect. That's what I want. That's what I've got. All right, so I'll get this camera set up for my, actually over here on the simmering water first. 800 ISO. Perfect. Perfect. There, now that that's going. Second camera. I do a lot of walking around when I'm making these videos. Yeah, at least I caught it now, not at the end. No kidding. Again. Okay, let's get our dashi sauce made. First thing we need to do, bring some water almost to a boil. You do not want to boil your seaweed. Absolutely not. So I've got mine steaming, as you can see. I'm going to take about 20 grams of seaweed, which in this case, about 20 grams, and just crack it and plop it in. Two ways you can do this. One is this method here, where I'm not bringing it up to a boil, because if you bring it up to a boil, it would actually get slimy. But just underneath the boil, a simmer, add your dashi, kombu. I'm going to have fun with this name. Konbuke. Add your dashi kombuke seaweed and just let it simmer away, probably for about 2 minutes. Nothing more. You want 2 minutes just so it gets rehydrated, and the white powder that you see on it's not salt, it's actually a protein that's very important in the dashi sauce. That's very important in the dashi broth. Keep saying sauce. Keep saying sauce. Why do I keep saying sauce? I need, hello, what do I need? I need this. I need one of my tools to take the seaweed out, and I need a little bowl to put the seaweed in. So it only takes about 3 or 4 minutes until the seaweed starts to rehydrate and release those proteins that are on the outer skin. Remember, you do not want it to boil. And I can tell the proteins are loose because the seaweed actually starts to look like it's getting dry. Now there are two ways to do this, as I mentioned at the beginning. One way is to do it this way, which is a quick way. The other way is to take your seaweed, put it in 4 cups of water and stick it in the fridge overnight. And just let it steep away in the fridge overnight. Either way, it's going to come out great. Okay, so my water has just started to turn color. My seaweed is completely hydrated, so I'll remove this. And I can discard this seaweed now. It's no longer any good. And I'm going to take my bonito flakes, and the way I do, I just dump them in because I'm going to filter it out later. And you want about a half a cup or a good handful, and drop that in. Again, you don't want it to boil, you just want it to simmer. And we're going to let this simmer away for about 3 or 4 minutes. This is where you get the smell of the fish, but with the seaweed, the umami smell is just awesome. Just awesome. All right, so I am finished with these pieces. Looking for my strainer, looking for my strainer. There it is. There it is. Ugh. And we're very careful not to boil this. We're just steeping it like a tea. Ah, there's that smell I'm looking for. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to turn the heat off, and through a fine sieve, I'm just going to move the broth from one pot to the other and capture the bonito flakes. Make sure it all drains out nicely. And there, is our dashi broth for our ramen. Perfect. Okay, now let's get the mise en place ready. And this is the point that I pause again. I gotta make sure I pause on all my cameras. I just noticed something. My poor laptop has been here being my... I've been using it as watching the chats and stuff like that. I forgot, I didn't plug it in. I'm getting a warning now, so let me get my plug for this. I'm having a great day with batteries and stuff like that, aren't I? Oh, Lord. Should be power cord right here. There. Now I got it. So I think the next time that I do a live stream, I've got to do in the kitchen. I've got to get, let's see, what do I have to get? I have to get another wireless microphone, which shouldn't be too bad. A couple $100. They're not that expensive. And I should get battery packs for my cameras. Oh, there it is. So I should get battery packs for my cameras so at least I can run them all the time. All right, so the dashi is done. Now we've got to do the mise en place, and I'm going to quickly saute up the turkey and stuff, so we'll get a thing for that. There, I've got that, and I need boiling water for my ramen noodles, because these are actually fresh egg ramen that I got from the Chinese market. First time I've ever been to one of the specialty markets, like the Chinese market. They have them in Chinatown and places like that. Everything's from China or from Japan or from the Mideast. Nothing's in English. The staff, they speak both languages, which was really, really good. And the prices were reasonable. But boy, there were some weird things. Like duck eggs. Yeah, they eat some weird stuff. They eat some weird stuff. All right. These are one of my favorite ingredients too, the black sesame. All right, let me get some things set for the next part. I don't know if you can see that camera. I hope you can't. Or at least I hope I can't. In the main. Lock that on, lock that on. Wow, that's bright. There. That's not so bright. That's not so bright. And where did I put my knife? Right there. That's showing where I put my knife. Yeah, I know they love the veggies. It's an amazing. They're amazing stores to go to. All right, I'm gonna swing that like that, and I need a plate to put my mise en place on. Shallot. I don't have a shallot. I didn't want to use a shallot. My shallots are bad, so I'll use an onion. Turn that up for the ramen. And I think we're ready to start doing the mise en place. Turn that camera on. Turn that camera on. Lots of things. I'm just waiting for the battery to die in the the microphone system. Testing 1, 2. Nope, still working. Or the wireless microphones. If it does, let me know. Let me know. All right. Okay, time to get our mise en place ready for the turkey ramen. I already have my dashi broth here, and I'm going to bring that up to a boil. Now that I've simmered everything out of it, I can bring it up to a boil and it won't affect it any. I've got water on the boil here for my ramen noodles because I want to get those cooked before I put them in the actual soup. I'm using egg white noodles. And I was actually looking for ramen noodles, and at the Chinese store I went to, they said, here's what all the restaurants use. Give me what the restaurants use. So let's get our mise en place ready. I'll move my black sesame seeds. And one of the things that you can use a shallot. I don't have a shallot that's fresh. I just checked them this morning. Not one shallot was fresh. But that's okay. I'll just have to get some more. So, I say so a lot, don't I? Oh well. All right, so we will take our onion, and this is going in the turkey saute. So I just want to julienne it. I don't really care too much about the presentation on this onion, because it's going to be rendered down and cooked out with the turkey. Same with the garlic. These recipes are getting easier and easier and easier. A lot less chopping. And yeah, chop up our garlic. Nice and chopped. I always like to go through it a couple times. What I'm hoping is that, or what we're planning on doing, is having the onions, the garlic, and the ginger all cook into the turkey, and that gives the turkey its flavor. And I don't see Ginger. Oh, there she is. I was wondering where Ginger went. Here's Ginger. And like I said, you want about a thumb-sized piece of ginger. And you want that finely chopped. What I do is I just triangle it up. Make sure I've got all the outer skin off it. You can use a spoon to take the skin off, or you can just chop it off like this. One more piece. And now I'm going to chop that up first into slices and then into little cubes. So now we've got it all julienned. Just go on the side, and then we can chop it into little cubes. Fingers out of the way, and there, we're done. So we've got our ginger, our garlic, and our onion all set to go with the turkey. The other vegetables will be cooked in the ramen broth when you plate up your ramen. So, with that in mind, we'll take our gnocchi. And if you're wondering about gnocchi, that's what it looks like. A bunch of little tiny mushrooms in a big ball. Now, for this ramen dish, I'm going to take the top of the gnocchi, and that's all I'm going to use. I need another plate, don't I? I need another plate for my garnishes when I serve it up. And these mushrooms have a real earthy smell to them, a real earthy taste. You don't throw this away. You can actually save this, cut it off right at the bottom, and you can make mushroom broth with it, mushroom soup. Set mine aside here. And we're running out of space, but that's okay. I'll put that right here for now. I'll put my gnocchi there. Make sure my table's done. And I want celery. I'm going to tail and top the celery. And then I'm going to cut it very thinly, but also on an angle. I just don't want it to roll around on me. There we go. You'll see it'll start so what you end up with is about 1/8 of an inch thick piece that will go great in your ramen noodle, turkey ramen noodles. And the bigger slice you can get, the better off. And I don't mean by bigger, thicker, I mean longer in terms of length. You'll see what I mean here when I do the onions. And there's another way you can cut them too, is you could cut it this way. So then you have like a little A. A little A. But it's all up to the individual. What you put in your food is all up to you. All right, now we'll do the onions. Just waiting for the water to come up for the, I see a big onion there. Just waiting for the water to come up for the ramen noodles. Yeah, you got to eat some ramen. Too bad. So sad. And I'm going to take off the outer piece. Make sure there's nothing on my cutting board. I'm going to have to slice these really thin, because these will be cooked almost instantly when they get in the broth. So I'm going to lay them down, and I'm just going to shave right along, and I'm going to try to get my knife even flatter, so I've got more onion. What I want is a lot of surface area so that when it hits the boiling broth, it's cooked. I'm trying to do it even thinner. There. And that'll come out looking like that, nice and thin. Now these are all for the ramen after we get the turkey done. Another thing we're going to saute is the bok choy. And I always take the outer leaf off and any broken ones. And the bok choy, I take off about a ½ inch in the bottom, just to make sure. That's how you make sure that they're clean. And take ½ inch off the bottom. You should be able to see no dirt. I see dirt here, so I'm going to rinse these off. Like my parents used to say, what's a little dirt? Little dirt's good for you. Well, not when it comes to cooking. You don't want any dirt. And now we're going to slice these as well thin, but we're going to saute them in the final steps of the turkey. There. So that's my bok choys ready to go. And the last vegetable that I have to prepare is my carrots. So I'm going to take my onions and all that, separate those, put my bok choy here. And my carrots, I want a special tool, if I can find it. I know where it is. No. I know I've got one in here somewhere. Yes. So for my carrots, I don't need 2 full carrots, but I am going to tail and top them. And I'm going to use this little tool here. This is a lemon zester. So it takes the lemon zest off. But what I want is my carrots to be nice and thin and to look like that. I don't want too many. This is for garnish. And your veggies, you always have to get your veggies in. I'll go to the top. And there. So because I'm only making enough for me, this is all I want. This is just enough carrot to make the dish look good. And you may hear in the background the water starting to boil, and we forgot the radishes. May seem like a lot, it's a very healthy meal. And I'm still recording. I'm almost done. And I'll take 1 radish. I'll julienne it. This again is for garnish. And there, all our vegetables and our garnishes are ready to go. All right. As soon as the water comes up to boil, we'll get the ramen on, we'll get the turkey on, and we'll get this supper put together. Take a little break. Turn that camera off. Because I still need the water to come up to boil. Turn that one off. Yeah, more than, wow, 4 GB limit. Let's see what everybody's saying. Yeah, grit is bad. I know. That's why, even when you wash them off for the first time, the grit gets up in amongst those. The zester gets its thinner made roasts, but a mandolin would work as well too. I own a mandolin. In fact, I have scars on my hand from my mandolin. Doing this one day, and boy, it's sharp. But I find the mandolin may not give you the smallest pieces you can get. I find the zester gives me the long, stringy pieces of carrot, which is what I'm usually looking for. Yep, that'll work. That'll work. All right. So I got 2. This is for when we assemble. This is for when we cook. I'm all done with this, so let's get that the hell out of the way so I don't cut myself. Water is boiling. This is going to come together pretty quick. Just got to make sure I got my camera, my food camera pointed to my boiling stuff. All right. Sorry it takes me so long to get it going. Just I have to think about what I'm saying. I'm on. All right. All right. If you're not hungry yet, you're going to be. Now we are going to basically get the stuff cooked and ready to go on the plate. If you're wondering why I've also got some black sesame seeds. I use those as a garnish as well, and it's just one of those little things I like. I really love the flavor. My water is boiling, so I'm going to take my ramen noodles, and this is enough for 4 people, so I'm going to quarter it. And this quarter is what I'm going to drop in the hot water. They're going to go in the eggs. They're going to go into this eggs mix, or these noodles are going to take seconds to cook, so long as they're thawed. And I may want a little more. I'm just eyeballing it for the noodles. Normally I would use them all, but it's only me. So I've got just about a half a cup of noodles in there. I've got my frying pan on for the turkey. I dropped a noodle in there, which is not good. And I need my bowl. Where's my bowl that I was going to serve my ramen in? Right there. Right there. And this is how we build it up. Okay, my noodles are floating, so they are done. Perfect. I want to drain those. You have to be careful which colander you use to drain them, because they're small. Small little noodles. Okay, so the ramen can drain. We'll get our turkey on. And this is 1 pound of turkey. Exactly. That's what makes it such a leaner dish. And you'll notice that I'm cooking way more than, oh shit, I did it wrong. I did something wrong. I'm all messed up. See the magic of editing. The magic of editing. So now I got to clean off my frying pan, bring it back up to temperature again. Make sure I get all the turkey off it. Forgot you were doing individual. Yeah, no kidding. And that's not all I forgot. I've got to saute the onions, the garlic, and the ginger first. Okay, so we'll bring up our pan to temperature. I'll put some grapeseed oil in the pan. We want a neutral flavored oil. Remember, we're going for an umami. I also want to turn up the dashi broth, and I want to bring that up to a boil. So I'll get the garlic, the ginger, and the onion into the frying pan. Now, normally this would be a big wok, and things would be just going crazy in terms of heat and everything else. But like I said, this is a meal that I'm going to make for one person tonight, and it'll be for tomorrow night and the night after that probably, with the amount of turkey. Get these all broken up, sauteing going. There, that's better. And I want to season it, of course, because I always season everything with just a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. No, I'm cooking with electricity, not gas. I just want these to become translucent and separated. I can smell the ginger and the garlic. And then I'm only going to cook half the turkey. And the reason I'm only cooking half a pound of turkey is because I'm only making one dish for myself tonight. But that's how big my pot is. So now we'll add the turkey. That's a half a pound of turkey. Again, don't forget, always season. Always season. And then you start spreading the turkey. Turkey cooks pretty quickly. I just want to make sure it's cooked thoroughly, like no pink. Yeah, no kidding. It's amazing how cheap ginger is. I make tea out of it. I drink ginger ale all the time, and mind you, apparently there's a lawsuit. There's no ginger ale in it, but I love the taste of ginger. Okay, as you can see, the turkey is almost done. I want my dashi broth to come up to boiling, then I'm going to turn it off again, because when I assemble my other vegetables, I want the broth to actually cook the vegetables. Okay, turkey is done. Time now to add the bok choy. I want to keep the colors. Just want it to get all incorporated, and the bok choy is basically going to soak up the juices. I go through a lot of plates in this meal, but it is worth it. So just make sure you stir everything around, get the bok choy a little tenderized. Move my soy and move everything here as we start to build. Make sure everything's nice and clean. I will stop the cameras one more time so I can get good footage. Just hate to lose the ending of this one. I mean, the ramen comes together so fast. ISO 400. And we're ready to start. Hope I don't run out of space. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for a ladle. That's done. Turn that off. Dashi is boiling. Okay, I think we're ready to put together a plate. Ugh. God damn it. Ugh. Everything's catching. All right. Okay. Okay. Here we go. All right, it's time to put together our plate. And the first thing I want to do is I take a bowl and I take some ramen. I probably want to put it in the top third. And you're saying, oh, that ramen's all sticky and gooey. Well, no, it's not, because once I introduce the dashi to it, I'm good. So I've got my ramen noodles in the bottom. Next is the turkey and bok choy. You can see we still haven't, so then we'll take some of the enoki mushrooms, some of the carrots, a couple of pieces of the celery, the onions, the radish juliennes, not a whole piece of the radish. I want more onions than that. And this is the secret. This is the trick. Take your broth, which is just boiling. Be very careful. And pour it over the veggies and everything else. Mushrooms, make sure everything gets covered. You want the broth just to start to appear. Son of And that is how you do it. And my camera shut off again. I gotta find out why. Battery probably died. Yep. Hang on, gang. I got to go get another battery. I can't figure out which one is good and which one's bad, so I'll just put this one in. That one's bad. Oh boy. The perils of doing a 3 or 4 hour stream is that you had to wait for batteries. There we go. I don't know where that died or when it died. The beauty is I have enough stuff. Hopefully you got all that. Yes, I know. Anyhow, I still have one more scoop to go. So what we're going to do is finish off with our final scoop. And what happens is that the boiling dashi actually cooks your delicate mushrooms and your delicate slices of your vegetables, and then you end up with this. And it is, oh, the smell, phenomenal. I always add a dash of soy, not too much. And there we go, turkey ramen noodles with homemade dashi, just for you. All right. Okay, now I can turn that camera off and let it cool down, and I'll be able to determine later what I missed. Now all I have to do is do some pictures, which is not hard. And I have a plate just for that. And who just subscribed? Let's see here. Zwack. Thank you very much. Zwack or Zwax? Zwack. Zwack. Z-W-A-K. Z-W-A-X. Pardon me, I can't see. There we go. Caesar Ryder as well. Thank you very much, Caesar. Okay, so I've got to take pictures of this. And I think I want that on a background for my thumbnail. All the work I've got to do, Madros, to get this thing done. I should have chopsticks in here. Should have, unless my daughter stole them. She stole them. Yep. All right, well, I'm just going to take a picture of the noodles. Just a picture of the noodles. Get in the right angle. And just bear with me while I get this one done. There. Perfect. Now I can turn off all my cameras. Well, not all of them. So there. Wow. This was a good day. That was 3 hours, 7 minutes or so. We have 3 that subbed. Yes, I see that. Thank you very much for subbing. I always appreciate it. I'm going to reward some knives. And I'm back on. Probably why I didn't see them sub. I was sitting here just watching it. There. Perfect. Zwack, Caesar Rider, and the Lost Souls just described. Well, I appreciate everybody subscribing, and I appreciate everybody coming by. I personally am going to go eat my ramen noodles in Turkey. This was a blast. I had a great time, and I appreciate Black Dragon and Madros and everybody else who popped by today. We got 3 videos done, or 3 videos recorded that will be on the channel within the next week or so. The HelloFresh comes tomorrow, so I'll start recording that this week as well. And I don't know whether I'm going to make that into a complete series or into just a little series. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. I should see if turn that TV over to the monitor. Oh yeah, so there I am. I'm still up. Guys, it's been a blast. I hope the sound and everything was right. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the sound and the lighting and the fact I had to go in and out of scene all the time. Maybe I'll put the camera in a different place. But until then, I'll see you online, and have a great night. I got to go eat some ramen. Thank you.